October 23rd, 2023, the hit popular game Lethal Company was released. Early in its life, the game started out with only around 500 players in October, but once the game got into the hands of popular Twitch streamers, the game blew up. On Steam charts, as you can see, at its peak, the game reaches over 200,000 players. And, well, it does help that the game is played by a lot of Twitch streamers and YouTubers like Markiplier, Ludwig, and, well, a lot of people. Seriously, if you check out your favorite YouTuber or Twitch streamer, they have probably played this game. I'm here to discuss why is this game so popular amongst YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and the general public, and also how does this game even compare to AAA titles that are huge and have massive budgets?
Oh, you're good.
Gameplay-wise, the game is pretty simple, but also pretty complex at the same time. The whole point is to collect scrap, which you eventually sell to meet the quota. You have a team of real-life players, whether it be your friends or people you randomly meet in lobbies. Now, the whole point of the game is to meet said quota, and then you keep getting harder and harder quotas, which you can use to spend on items or even go to harder moons. However, it is not easy collecting scrap due to the plethora of different enemies, and I gotta give the game credit. A lot of these enemies have very unique mechanics. For example, the Bracken has 3 different states: sneaking, evading, and enraged, and he even has his own anger meter as well, and there are 4 different actions that each add a different amount of anger. When the Bracken kills a player, it'll drag its corpse to its room, but even that has special conditions as well. If you ask me about all the meters and everything, I have no clue what they mean, but all I know is to look at them once and then run away. Coil heads also change the pace at which the player must play, as you must look at them the whole time in order for them to not kill you. This requires a lot of planning and precaution as well, but it is also cool you can slow them down a bit. For example, doors, they take around 4 or 5 seconds to open, so that can give you some leeway in order to look away and run away. Stun grenades and zap guns can also stun the coil head for a few seconds as well, but you cannot kill the coil head, which is also a pretty cool mechanic. And when paired with other enemies, coil heads can be very, very lethal. There are also a plethora of other enemies with very unique mechanics, like the bunker spider, which can control its environment with webs, or the hoarder bugs, because, well, they just steal your items. There you go. Here. You want that? There you go. Bye-bye. Scrap can also have interactions with the player and enemies. For example, the robot toy makes noise, which attracts eyeless dogs right to you, and the mask can possess you, turning you into an enemy. The items are also super well thought out, from the essentials like flashlights to cosmetic items like pajamas. Also, some items are very hard to master. For example, shovels and zap guns. Shovels are used for attacking the enemy, while zap guns are used for stunning the enemy, and if 2 players are willing to do the shovel zap gun combo, it's not as easy as it seems. The zap gun only stuns enemies for a limited amount of time, and the shovel can only do so much damage, so it's important to keep in mind that the zap gun stun may run out on the enemy. It's also important to remember that you can even zap your own teammates, so make sure to aim well. The jetpack is also extremely hard to use, but I've never really used it, so I don't know how it works. And also, you can even get a shotgun from one of the enemies if you kill them. All of the monsters interact differently with certain items, and it is super cool. Going back to coil heads, when you use a radar booster on them, they are stunned for 5 seconds, and when you try and hit a slime with a shovel, they actually get angrier and faster. And the best part is you get to share the gameplay with your friends.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
As stated before, you get to play with real players, and no matter what kind of experience you have in the game, it is still super fun. Teaching new people how to play the game can be extremely funny, especially if they have no clue what is going on. It is also fun playing with experienced players because, well, trying to go for a new PB on the quota can be extremely fun and challenging. It requires a lot of teamwork, especially on the harder moons, because some of those moons can spawn some brutal enemies like the Jester, the Ghost Girl, and the Nutcracker. But no matter how hard you try at the game, there will always be a good chuckle. The game has the best comedic timing ever, and no wonder I have 75 clips saved.
Oh fuck, when you can throw bodies
Kevin, wait, where did Noah go?
What did he do?
It is amazing how this game can have such a low skill floor and such a high skill ceiling. Seriously, it is perfect. The game also benefits from being a team game because a lot of games these days are way too competitive. I get the appeal of competitive games and I enjoy them myself, like Overwatch and other FPS games or fighting games, but sometimes I just want to sit down and have a good time with my friends. It also has a bit of roguelike-itis. For example, Slay the Spire is the same way. You get better and better cards while also facing harder and harder enemies, and well, Lethal Company is the same way. You go to harder moons to get better scrap, and well, you get harder and harder quotas which you have to meet. Both of these games are very different, but they allure the player in to keep playing to try and get better and better scores. The horror aspect of the game is done well and it brings out the best in people. It also doesn't have any cheap jump scares as well. It's just the players versus the environment.
What the fuck was that? Kill me! Kill me!
Now, for the overall package of the game, there is no single player, which on paper is pretty bad, but I mean, the whole experience is supposed to be multiplayer, and if you really want to, you could do, well, Lethal Company by yourself, but it is really hard. And well, if you have no friends to play with, it is pretty hard to play in public lobbies, and well, that's just typical for games like these. Like, for example, classic FPS games or, you know, other games with in-game chat. It can get pretty bad. The story, however, is very good, and it's also not as messy when compared to other horror game lore. For example, the backrooms, there's just too much going on, and I think it's more of the fan base trying to pile on more and more lore, and well, as far as Lethal Company, that hasn't been that big of an issue. Even horror games that aren't affected by their communities, sometimes it gets a little bit too chaotic to keep track of and sometimes a little outlandish, but I think Lethal Company perfectly hits the balance of what could possibly be going on and, well, just straight lore. Unfortunately, this is not a lore video. You can check out other channels or play the game yourself to kind of piece it together, but just know it's good. Go play the game, go read the wikis. I don't know, it's very, very good. If you're looking for a game that has the best graphics and soundtrack, you came to the wrong place. But I still do like the art direction, and some of the little tunes that the game plays are pretty good. It has this PS1 horror style that I really like. For example, Resident Evil and Silent Hill did it very well. Very blocky, and sometimes you can't tell what you're looking at, but it's almost creepy, and I think Lethal Company does that very well. Going back to the coil heads, can you tell it's my favorite enemy in the game? You can see it's very blocky and blotchy, but that kind of adds to the horror of it. You can't really make out what it's supposed to be. And when compared to other horror games released today, I think the PS1-like graphics do it very well. Of course, it's a horror game, so there is no music, sadly, but the piano music is oddly comforting and also eerie at the same time. The boombox music is also immaculate.
Where's he at?
Compared to epic games created by big developers today, this game sticks out so well. Why is this small little indie game doing so well when compared to games released by, let's say, EA, Ubisoft, Nintendo, and games of the sorts? Well, in my opinion, I feel like Lethal Company has a lot of passion and grit put into it. There are so many details put into each enemy, it is insane. And it feels like bigger games today just feel bland. It just feels like, here's the main gameplay and this is all you get. It feels weird how only one person can create such a unique and expansive game with all the lore and certain enemies, items, etc. But big game developers don't really seem to do that all too much now. It also seems like we're in the age of re-releases, especially in Nintendo. Well, with Super Mario RPG just coming out, and also it's been going on for a while, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. What game did a re-release or remaster right? Well, I would say Sonic Mania. It's not really either of the two, but it is just an absolute celebration of Sonic with a whole bunch of levels and just pure passion put into the game. I miss the GameCube and Xbox era of games, as they were just packed with little Easter eggs and just charm. I miss trying to unlock all the characters in Melee. It made you play through all the different game modes in the game. You would unlock somebody for playing adventure mode, doing certain requirements in multi-man Melee. It was amazing. Lethal Company does have a lot of charm, but it also puts a lot of new into the old. And of course, without new technology, the game would not even be possible. For example, in-game chat, online capabilities, etc. I think it's the same reason why people love Nintendo games so much. They are so charming and so unique. For example, there were a lot of FPS games that were released when Splatoon was released. But Splatoon became so popular because of its unique mechanics and, well, it was just different at the time. And, well, yes, they have a lot of re-releases nowadays. I think they have a lot of unique games, especially Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Lethal Company is just so unique. And, well, it's no wonder right now it's ranked number 5 for top sellers on Steam. There is also a reason why the game is positively reviewed. Every little detail has a purpose. For example, shovels and stop signs, even though they do the same thing, they are pretty different. Stop signs you don't have to buy, but they are heavy, causing the player to be slower. But shovels, you do have to buy them, but they are lighter. Rather than being a cheap cash grab and banking on nostalgia, this game has a lot of heart and passion in it. Lethal Company is an amazing game, and also it's only $10, which is crazy. In a sea of cash grabs in the modern gaming era, this game stands out very well. With more updates, I only hope the game will get better and better. Well, I missed my quota. Time to get the hell out of here.